It's great to have all of you here today. Can you hear all the way to the back? Yes, good. Thank you. So today, we have the opportunity of honoring one of our own. A person, you see this, Denise? We love you, Denise. Because as we thought about today, what was the message that we really wanted to give to Denise? First and foremost, it's all of our love and gratitude for all of the work that she has done on behalf of Pierce College, but more importantly on behalf of students. Because I don't think you will find a stronger advocate for students than Denise. So, Denise, yes. I know you're supposed to introduce yourself. I'm Michelle Johnson. I'm the district chancellor, and I had the good fortune of selecting Denise to actually succeed me as the president of Pierce College Fort Steilacoom when the board changed the organizational structure to a district chancellor and two campus presidents. And so it's probably one of the best decisions I made, Denise. And we have had a fantastic relationship because we're not afraid to disagree vehemently and then move forward. And that's really what it's all about. So there are many of you here, and I can't do recognitions of everyone, but I do want to acknowledge first a couple of people. So we have members of our Board of Trustees here, our Vice Chair, Steve Smith, and Trustee Jackie Rosenblatt, who is in her last year of 10 years. And Steve is going to read something in a moment. I also want to recognize our foundation board, and I know that we've got several members here. I know we had Phil Yates, I saw Susie Russell Hall, and we have Jonathan Harris, who's our outgoing president, and our current president, Sally Porter Smith. And Frank Winken. Anybody else I've missed? And they're really important to us because they're working on behalf of our students in getting resources and being strong advocates in the community. And then all of you, our faculty and staff, and I think we have a handful of students in here, which is always important because we're about students. So Steve is going to read a board recognition of Denise. Now, we're kind of violating a little bit of Denise's request, because she really wanted this just to be, I mean, come on, Denise, it's me, let's go. Yeah. Because she really wants this to be about fun, and we want that too. But we also, when recognition is due, you give it. And so with that, I want to ask Steve to come up and read to you the recognition that the board took at their last board meeting. So Steve, it's right there. You have to reach high when you...
As a member of the Board of Trustees, there's a lot of important things that we get to do. You know, we don't have to argue vehemently with Michelle. We're her boss. I think we're your boss. But we get a chance to also interact with the executive team on a regular basis. And of course, Denise has been part of that. And we have seen how this campus has really blossomed under her leadership. And so it was with pride that we passed the following. Board Action Exhibit number 2019-01, our first action of the year. Final Board Action, January 9, 2019. Pierce College District number 11, recognition of Denise Yochum as President Emeritus for Pierce College Fort Steilacoom. Whereas, Denise Yochum served as president of Pierce College Fort Steilacoom from 2006 to 2018, and whereas she provided outstanding leadership using a collegiate and forthright approach that earned her the respect and affection of the entire college. And whereas Denise was devoted to student success, taking every opportunity to further the college's mission and to be of service to the community. And whereas during Denise's tenure, she was a key member of the teams responsible for many accolades awarded to Pierce College, including being in the Aspen Prize for College Excellence, top 150 colleges, four times, and in 2019, being in the top 10, becoming an Achieving the Dream Leadership College and winning its Leah Meyer Austin Award, and being named one of the best military colleges in Washington and the nation every year. And whereas Denise worked tirelessly on efforts that resulted in doubling Pierce College's graduation rate from 2010 to 2018, and championed the addition of baccalaureate degrees to the college's offerings. And whereas Denise oversaw numerous capital projects, including backhoe driving, I added that part, including the Science and Math Building, the Science Dome, and the renovation of much of Cascade Building. And whereas Denise served admirably in the statewide President's Association, Washington Association of Community and Technical Colleges, leading and participating on committees and vigorously advocating for the community college system with local and national elected leaders. And whereas Denise is appreciated throughout the college for her positive attitude, quick wit, and continual support of students, faculty, and staff as they strive to reach the highest levels of success. And now, therefore, be it resolved that Denise Yochum is hereby recognized as President Emeritus of Pierce College Fort Steilacoom in recognition of our gratitude for her ceaseless devotion to students, the college, the community, the community and technical college system, and for her genuine passion for each and every person in the Pierce College family. Signed, Michelle Johnson, PhD, and Angela Condon, Board Chair. Congratulations.
So, you know, it takes a team, and I want to recognize a couple of other individuals. One is obviously Denise's cohort here, co-president. Dr. Darrell came from our Puyallup campus, obviously, and Darrell's had some opportunity. And you know, Deidre Swallow is now going to be the interim president until June, and then we'll be doing a new search. So here at Fort Steilacoom. And I would tell him to stand up, but I think he already is. Come up here. Dr. Marty Cavalluzzi, the former president of Puyallup and now the president of Olympic College. And
I'm standing up.
I know, I said that. And trust me, they've been a handful of the duo to kind of deal with. So it's great to have him here. And you know, probably the most important person in Denise's life, and that's her husband, Eric. And with that, we have a little gift for you, Denise. You want to do it?
Yeah. Can I ask all current
and former members of E-Team to come up? Everybody? Yeah? This is a gift from your fellow E-Team folks, Denise. Daryl, could I ask you to read that out loud? Is this hope? Yeah, that's on to either one. Got everybody? Where's Joanne? Oh, there's. Stand up. Okay, Denise, you know how much fun we have in E-Team and how much we love you. So this is just a very small gift from all of us, and Daryl's going to read it.
All right. Well, on behalf of the E-Team, and we just want to say thank you for all you've done, and we really appreciate your hard work and effort. So this is a token of appreciation for you. Certificate for Cedar Brook Lodge. This certificate is presented to Denise Yochum in recognition of her service and dedication to Pierce College Port Silicon. Please enjoy 2-night stay and dinner on us. Your E-Team rides. And I guess Eric will be enjoying it as well.
So before we go to the next thing, there's like the second most important person in Denise's life that hasn't stood up yet. Cheryl? Yeah. She'll talk later. Okay, and I think now we're ready for Michelle and Jennifer. Jennifer, you here?
So Jennifer is the Director of Development and works hand in hand with the Pierce College Foundation. You want to announce it?
I think you should.
You want me to?
Yeah.
Okay. So Denise, I'm pleased to announce that we have started a scholarship in your name. And so, as you know, we are part of a $3 million, a little over $3 million campaign on student success. And we know that, that students need that extra push when those things in life happen. And Denise knows all about that. And so it's called It's Possible, the Denise R. Yochum Fund. So, and all of you are welcome to contribute.
I think it's very fitting that Michelle and E-Team decided to have this gift in your honor because Denise has taught students and all of us that whatever you came here at Pierce to do, it's possible. So the Denise R. Yochum Fund is part of the Student Success Campaign. We have this for you as well as a framed copy here. And for those of you that want to be a part of this wonderful fund in honor of Denise, you have the opportunity to do so. You can go online, and when you do your online giving, just check on there that you want to make a tribute and then put Denise R. Yochum Fund on there so we know where it would go. And then we also have pledge forms there in the back if you want to do it that way, and we're happy to help you. We love you, Denise. Do you want to announce how much is already in it?
Is that right? Go ahead, you know.
So thus far, it's over $2,000.
Are we showing the video? We're just talking about it, or how are we going to?
It was just meant to be background.
Okay. So there is a video that we've made, Denise, and you might have seen as you come in. It's usually you in costume, because that's what you love the most. I mean, one thing that Pierce College knows how to do is we know how to work really hard, and we know how to play really hard. And Denise is like amazing on all of the costumes over 13 years. And so we've got lots of different images of you, and we're going to get that a copy to you, and it was playing earlier, and we'll get it up there again. So with that, we are going to, obviously the refreshments are there. We're going to have an open mic, and individuals who want to come up and say something, and Denise wanted them to be fun stories. So if you have a fun story about Denise, I'm going to start with Deb Gilchrist.
I just think, you know, we need fair play. She might want to say something.
Can't wait till you're all done, I can get you all back. But that might take a little while.
Now I'm in trouble.
So
Yeah.
I just want to let you know how humbled and how honored I am, and the fact that people that have worked with me for as many years as they have still wanted to donate to send me somewhere. And they waited until I retired to do it. You know, it takes a great team, and we've been really fortunate. We've had our ups and we've had our downs, but mostly they've been ups. And we've been able to really lead this district into the place where it needs to go. But wouldn't be me if I didn't say there's still work to be done. And so I just want you to think about that as you go forward, that there's still work to be done. There's still great leaders here in every ranks. We have leaders that are classified staff that are leading the way, doing workshops that are phenomenal, helping us get to equity. We have administrators who work night and day. We have faculty who work night and day, all looking to figure out how to better student success every step of the way. And so I just urge you to keep that work up. That would be my greatest thing that you could ever do for me. And I'm very humbled by the scholarship, because we all know that sometimes it just takes $100, it just takes $400, it just takes $500 to get a student across the finish line. And that's where they make the difference. So we know that the tipping point is a year's certificate or a degree. And if we can continue to do that in whatever way, whether it's through a scholarship fund in my name or scholarships in anyone's name, that's what we need to do. So it has been my distinct pleasure to work here. This retirement is not something that I choose to do, but it's something I have to do. And I really have appreciated all the good wishes and from people that barely know me to people that know me very well. All the prayers and all the positive energy. So thank you very much.
Well, Denise, my learning from you came very early on in our relationship. I had the pleasure of being on Denise's screening committee when we hired her. So indeed, my first lesson from her came during that interview. Because as the conversation turned to the topic of honesty and transparency, Denise, of course, gave a very eloquent and truthful response. And everyone was, really appreciative of the answer that she gave, but she didn't just stop with words, because she then demonstrated her commitment to those things by putting her hand on top of her head and pulling off her wig and revealing her shaved head from her first bout with breast cancer. And it was at that moment that we realized what an incredibly transparent, down-to-earth person that she was, and that has continued all through my knowing her and her service here. That was exactly, I knew in that moment that you were meant to be our president. So, and when I took on the VP role, Denise not only became my boss, but she became my mentor. And I learned this role through you. So, and I will always be grateful for that. But I learned to appreciate that transparency all the time. There were many hard things that I had to tell her over the years, and sometimes the distance between my office and her office seemed awfully long. But my goal was always to get there before she got to me. But I thought, if I could tell her first, I was going to be a lot better off. So, but I knew that what I would always get from that interaction would always be the honesty that I needed, that I deserved, but also the wisdom that would really help to move whatever the issue was to the next place. So, Denise, this is a toast to a long and healthy future for you. Your legacy will live on through all the learning that I have had, that everybody here has had because of you. So, thank you.
Sorry I have to get back to work, but I'm not going without leaving my thoughts for Denise. I'm just a little trickle, Denise. Just one of the many, many voices here today to honor President Denise Yochum. But I'll always think of her as my friend Denise. I'm grateful that I started out at JBLM because that's where I met her. And so often I enjoy her visits out to come and have ice cream and candy with us under Mark Haskins. And I do love ice cream and candy, that's why I don't have molars. But my special memory with this Denise was the Christmas that I ate next to her at Barlow's house. Do you remember that? At the waterfront. I so hated Barlow for his beautiful home. But I forgot it was Christmas, so I came back to having a Jesus heart. But she shared with me that she was from Riverside, California! And I love listening to her rise from humble beginnings. I won't say that finding out she was a Cali girl like myself cemented my love for her, but it did. Actually, it's her heart. Denise, your life teaches me that the lesson that you lead for all of us is that if you truly love somebody, your brother or sister, and if they're getting weaker, then our job is to get stronger for them. Speak sweeter, love harder, and be more aggressive in helping pick others up. Mr. Yochum, all my prayers for you. You the man. Denise, you leave with my prayers. They will be whispered to you every day with the help of my husband, who's an associate pastor and prays for me often too. It is a mountain you stand in front of right now, but you are not alone. I can only imagine. You are my hero, for my many medical challenges are small compared to yours. But you're one of the people whose heart I model mine after. I walk around Pierce College and I learn, if you look at this flower, I live according to give flowers while you can. That means those that are with you, you don't know if they're going to be here tomorrow. It could be to a sickness. It could be because they lost their mind and went to UW Tacoma or TCC or something like that. But the lesson still stands. The lesson still stands to give flowers while you can, every day, whatever corner you're working in. If you haven't been back in evaluations to give me a hug, you need prayers. Thank you, Denise, for your service to Pierce College, to all around you, and to this Samoan daughter of yours. Your life speaks love and people. I love you.
Ms. Yochum, Denise, I want to thank you. And I say thank you as you heard transparency and you heard JBLM. And that's where we met, JBLM. And I remember when I met you in our Friday meetings, you were very transparent in the things that you said. And then I met you in the hall. There was a spirit inside me that said, ask her, ask her. I met you in the hall. When I asked you that question, you said yes. And the question was, I asked Denise if she would go out to Purdy with me to speak because I'd heard the gist of her story and her upbringing. And she said yes, and she was the keynote speaker out at Purdy prison. And the impact that you made on those women there was amazing. And see, and that right there just drove me to be with Pierce and around you even more, because they believed possibilities. They believed possibilities was realized. And here you are, president of a college, being very transparent and going out into the community to touch other people. And in addition, one of those individuals that was there came to Pierce College. I brought her here, and prior to that, she said, if anybody comes to Pierce College, come and talk to me. And when that happened, that individual came here, and sure enough, they met with you, and you did everything that you could to give them those resources to be a student here at Pierce College. But see, people didn't see that, nor do they know that, but you do a lot behind doors. And I greatly appreciate that, and I will never forget that. And that's why I do what I do out in the community as well. Thank you.
So I remember at one point, now Denise came when things were a little testy at times. And, you know, I was representing faculty on like the budget team and other meetings, and there was times when faculty would say, well, why don't you ask them this question, or why don't you ask them this question? And so I would ask the questions, and sometimes I got a lot of blowback from it. And I remember one time where Denise, you know, was feeling like we didn't trust them. Why was I asking these questions? We should have more faith in the administration. And I'm like, hey, that's my job, is to ask you guys questions, and it's your job to answer my questions. That was my take on it. But you know, I grew up in a family where, you know, by the age of 6, I already knew that you didn't cry in public. And that was not Denise's style. So I have to admit that, you know, when I first you know, saw you get teary-eyed because I'm asking hard questions, and I'm thinking, yeah. And the word snowflake had not really existed yet, but I was thinking the equivalent of snowflake. How did a snowflake get to be president of a college? That's what I'm thinking. But, you know, along the way, I came to appreciate that, because we all have different, you know, I consider, you know, Michelle's big on those colors things, you know, and I'm definitely up there with the green, analytical, and my blue's kind of down here, which is kind of why I'm not sure why people are crying. And Denise, I mean, her blue's a little bit higher than mine, so that probably explains why she might get teary-eyed and I don't. But I learned to appreciate it because it represented just how deeply she cared about the faculty, the staff, the college as a whole, the students. And I remember one time she gave me this book you loaned me, I believe, The 4 Agreements. And I'm just going to say, when I read them, I went, well, duh, I wouldn't, you know, this seems kind of obvious to me, anyway. But it was, and these are things, though, that Denise exemplified. And when she did fall down and make a misstep, she apologized. She would write an email to the person. I mean, she was just, and it didn't happen again. I mean, she fixed whatever had gone wrong, she fixed it, which is something that, you know, it's not so much just, you know, if you kind of follow these things, it's that when you make a misstep, you correct it, and then you go on better than before, and that is why that is what I admire about you. That's one of the big things that, you know, and I remember there being a conversation about us, you know, faculty should trust the administration and stuff, and I was saying, well, you have to earn it, and I'll have to say, over the years, Denise earned my respect and trust, like, you know, I mean, just, so be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. That one was kind of hard for her, being kind of blue. Don't make assumptions, and always do your best. And I feel like Denise exemplified these things, so I want to leave you with this snowflake. But there's a story behind the snowflake. My mom always wanted to have this crochet tablecloth from her mother, and eventually my aunt gave her one, but along the way she tried to make her own. She tried to give it to me, to have me make it, because she said she didn't understand geometry. When my mom died, I eventually made that tablecloth. I also eventually inherited, that my grandma had 2, I eventually got one from my aunt who gave me one. My sister got the original one. But when my sister got the original one, when my mom died, I was determined to make that tablecloth, and I made an ornament that was based on the tablecloth for every member of the family. And ever since then, I've crocheted a different style of snowflake for everybody in the family. And sometimes other members, friends or whatever, join us for our family dinners and they get a snowflake. So I want you to have the snowflake because, you know, I may have thought snowflake wasn't a good thing, but after seeing you, I think snowflake's a good thing. And if somebody calls you a snowflake, it is not a bad thing. So you are our precious snowflake. No melting.
The mother hen. That's Denise, who cares for this faculty body, this student body, this institution with everything she's got. I recall a couple of conversations that I had with you from the standpoint of putting together my career path. And one of those things were overcoming challenges for me in that I had one class remaining at the University of Phoenix and could not for the life of me get that institution to grant me my degree. And you gave me advice on how to pursue and who to talk to at the institutional level to get that degree released. And I'm proud to say that they did finally, after 19 years, release that degree without having to take an additional class. And so your leadership in that gave me the desire to keep fighting in that vein to receive that degree. And my daughter, who was attending Pierce College at the time as well in the dental program, and you sat with her, you made time out of your schedule and sat with her and gave her advice and gave her encouragement to go on her journey. And I called her last night to let her know that I will be speaking on your behalf today. And she said, oh, let her know that I'm so thankful for what she did. She's at Eastern getting her bachelor's in dental program right now. And so your encouragement for all of us, when you encourage me to apply, when you talk about scholarships, the Alan Spence Scholarship Award, you encouraged me. When you saw that the opportunity to apply came, you say, Robert, why aren't you applying? Get your application in. And you encouraged me to apply for the Alan Spence Scholarship Award, and I received that, and that helped me go across the finish line to receive my second bachelor's degree in organizational leadership. You were the precipice for that and giving me that extra push I needed. And so for whatever it is that you need of me, I'm here for you. I'm always praying for you. But whatever you need, whether it's a conversation, a phone call, a visit, whatever, I'm here for you. You are the mother hen that I need for the remainder of my journey, and I love you for all that you are.
Okay, we got a couple other people, but I just wanted to say a couple things. First of all, Michelle, my name is Deidre Swallow. I'm the interim president of Pierce College Fort Yochum. That's hard. So I had the opportunity to go to that president's meeting this morning, and I wanted to pass along, I know Michelle heard it too, all of us, everyone's passed the love, all the presidents run the system, so I wanted to say that. So then, when we talked about this event, Denise said she didn't want tears. I said, well, maybe we could do a roast. And she said, I would like that. She would like that. So if other people want to roast her, it could be pretty fun. But the truth is, I don't really have funny stories about her, but I have heard funny stories about her. And mostly from her, about her. And I would love to share them. Holly would not let me, I'm sure. We have this joke in E-Team. I'm like, Holly won't let you do that. So I know you know the stories I'm thinking about. So I'm going to turn it over to someone else, but I just want to say we'll continue to swap grandma stories, right? Yes, because we've had a lot of fun as each of us became grandmother again and again and again over the past years. So, Sally?
This is not a college story. I met this woman in a community meeting, and you're not going to be able to guess which organization because she was at so many community meetings, and there was a topic being discussed, and let's just say that the perspectives were quite limited. Denise and I found one another in this organization, sitting in opposite rooms and expressing a different perspective in as constructive, positive, affirmative way as possible. And we then saw each other in the parking lot and discussed the status quo and our lack of support for it. And it had been a frustrating series of discussions. And then Denise stopped and looked at me and she said, "This organization does really good work in the community. Let's change it." And that is what Denise has done, is she has helped change things for the better. And I leave you with a personal wish, one that my grandmother gave to me. May every day, may you find a moment of beauty and a moment of joy. With love.
Sorry, Eric. I won't say that story. When you opened it up, when you said you wanted to hear stories, well, Denise and I go way back, of course, when she first got here. And before I tell my story, so I don't get into trouble, she can use her love to forgive me. I love you, Denise, with all my heart, as everybody else here in this room does. When Denise first came here, I said, oh gosh, here's another president. I'm going to have to whip them into shape too. But that's not really true. First time I interacted with Denise, and I won't take away any of the stories from Raider Athletics, because she is the ultimate Raider fan, even more than me. I concede to Denise. I was watching volleyball, I was sitting up in my area at the top of the bleachers, not bothering anybody. And who walks in? The new president and my dear friend, Michelle Johnson. And I go, don't sit up here, don't sit up here. Because I'm very animate. When you're there for an event, you talk about the event and you watch the event. And I said, please don't sit up here. And they sat there. And of course, I'm very animate with referees and stuff. Being an old referee, I just think a lot of the referees are just too old to be doing this job anymore. Athletes are too strong and too fast. But I never insulted referees or any officials, but I sure gave them hell. I had a red card and a yellow card. I had a yellow flag, and I let them know how I felt about it. And I did it very loudly, so they knew they needed to do their job. Well, Denise was all over me the first time I opened my mouth. I don't remember what I said. And she goes, that wasn't very nice. You shouldn't be doing that. You know, and I said to myself, no, don't do it. I says, I don't want to listen to this. I don't want to listen to business. I want to listen to athletics and what's going on. So I politely kept my mouth shut. And during halftime, I moved to the other side. No one tells me to be quiet at a ball game. But come to find out, little miss over here was worse than I was. Right, Eric? Eric had his times too down at LCC. We won't go into that. Because Denise, boy, I got in trouble with. Me and Eric got in trouble for that one. But there is one event that I think most of you know. And by the way, my name is Mr. Ben for those that I don't know, but I think I know most of the people here. There was a time, and this is about leadership. One of the things when I retired from here after 21 years, I made a point to tell everybody, take care of the people that work for you. Thank them every day. Pat them on the back. That's all you need. You don't need a trophy. You don't need, you don't need the recognition. Just thank them. But one of the things, when I used to get in trouble a lot, with my mouth around here, there was some bosses that I had some interaction with. And I'm telling you what, always back your employees. No matter what they do, if they did something wrong, oh, they're going to get in trouble. And I got in trouble. But back your employees. Denise backed me. We were just talking about this the other day. And I had no clue. She really, really was peeled. And it had to involve what we call today short gate. I wear shorts all the time. And we had some people that came in and cleaned house and required or told me that I had to wear long pants. Oh God, no. But I did. I wore them. But the minute someone asked me, why are you wearing long pants, Mr. Ben? I was ordered to. Well, I got around, and you all know the story. But Denise told me the other day, she says, no. What is with the shorts? That's silly. It's ridiculous. It wasn't like I was wearing spandex or something. But she backed me on that. Yeah, that's right. Neither would I. But she backed me on that. Things got going, and I eventually got to wear my shorts again because it was ridiculous. And also Michelle backed me on that. Later on, I heard all the jibber-jabber. But that just reminded me of what all of us need to do here at Pierce College, because it's just, don't have to say what Pierce College is like. It's a wonderful place. There wasn't a day, even during Shortgate, there wasn't a day that I woke up that I did not want to come to work. When I was in the Air Force, there was a lot of that. A lot of sick call. But thank you. I just want to say, Denise, you are an impeccable woman, dedicated to Pierce College and to the students and to all of us, and a dear, dear friend during some hard times for me. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Sean's going to be the last with the mic, but then we'll free everyone up and, come and speak with me.
Okay, Sean and then Marty and then.
Sean and then Marty, and then someone else.
And then.
I'll try to be quick. I came to Pierce College back in 2004 as a student. I had just gotten out of the Army, and my career plans had not worked out. And for one reason or another, I found myself at Pierce College, and shortly thereafter, I found myself as a student body president on the Pallet campus. And that's where I got to meet Denise for the first time. And I had no idea what I wanted to do. But by being able to sit in rooms with people like Denise and Michelle and Tana Hassard at the time, a passion was kindled within me for the work that I saw you exemplify. Because here was it was great as a young person to have somebody trust me and believe in me and hold me to a high standard and expect the very best of us and be able to communicate the mission of the college and really ingrain in me the importance of who we serve. And as a student, I always felt important because of Denise and other folks in the administration. And I would go to other student leadership conferences. I'd get to meet other student leaders, and people would be blown away, and I would be blown away by hearing them talk about what seemed like a different world that they lived in, where they weren't included, where their opinions weren't valued, and I grew to have a real love of this college. And it was actually, I don't know if you remember, I remember sitting down after some meeting and talking to you about my future. and you talked to me a lot about, you know, your path to higher education and how it didn't have to be as straight as I thought it might have. But I don't think I'd be here today maybe without that conversation that I had with you, and so I want to thank you for that, first of all. And second, you know, by being able to sit in those rooms, sit in the college cabinet and some of these other forums, you really, like students, a lot of our students, unfortunately, just have no idea how much people love them and how seriously they take their mission to help them. And so I just want to thank you, not just on my own behalf, but for all the students who have no idea how much you gave while you're here. And for all the student leaders like me whose lives you undeniably impacted. That's one of the reasons I came back to this school, is because I know we're special. And I know one of the reasons that we're special is because of you. And I just want to thank you very much.
Alrighty, so real quick. When I was hired, I was here for 4.5 years. Right away, I inherited 2 mentors. Michelle, who really took me under her wing and kept every day saying, no, Marty, you don't want to do it like this, and here's why, and go through it. And then I had Denise, who would call me and say, Marty, don't do it, I'm telling you why. And then after a couple of weeks, that patience started to wear thin on Denise, and one day she called me and said, are you an effing idiot? And I was like, okay. And so that started that. And now another story about the kind of humor she has. So one day I was on my way over here for a very early meeting. It was foggy. I called her office. She didn't answer, and I left her a message about how far away I was and what was going on with the fog and all this. And then I come into her office, and she's really serious, and she says, I need you to sit down. And I said, okay. And then she said, you know, I had to call HR for something you did. And I said, what are you talking about? And she said, like, you don't know? And I said, no, I don't know. And she said, I think you're in a bit of trouble, Marty. I was like, Denise, what are you talking about? And she said, you left me a voice message. And you know, visual voice message, how it turns into a text? I'm telling you, it was so X-rated, you wouldn't believe it. It was a kick. But she was dead serious and had me sweating bullets there for a second. And the third thing I want to leave you with is what a caring individual this woman is. We keep in touch all the time on the phone. There's not a single time where she doesn't want to spend more time talking about my problems and what's going on in my life than your problems. And that's the kind of loving woman this is. So thank you for that.
I didn't get to do the one thing that Marty encouraged me to do for 4.5 years. Frequently at the president's meeting, he would sit down next to me and the presidents would get going. And they would be nitpicking over whatever would happen. And he would bet me $200 or a dinner or something that I would slap my hands down on the table and yell out, I've had enough of this stuff. And I'd just walk out of the room. So I'm really bummed that I didn't get to make it to the last meeting. It probably would have really been fun.
I want to thank all of you for being here. Denise, there's so many stories I could tell, and so many that I won't. But I do want to share one, because you heard from Deb about the transparency, and you heard from Beth about the importance of trust. And I have to tell you, as a leader, and you think about colleagues and folks that we work with, that integrity, which is one of the core values of Pierce College, there's just no room for that not to be there. When there is integrity and trust, you can do just about anything. And so because of you, Denise, I've been able to do a lot of things. But I want to tell one story, and I'm going to have to clean it up. She'll know. So one day, Denise calls me on the phone. And she says, well, I have to tell you something I did. And I know that, this isn't good. But I need to tell you what I did, because one thing about Denise is when she makes mistakes, you heard, she fixes them, right? She takes responsibility. So I won't give you, I'll clean it up. But she calls me and tells me that she had had an interaction with an individual. And that individual really started pushing her buttons because she felt that the individual wasn't honest. And so Denise said she wanted to leave the room, but the other individual insisted that she stay and share with her what she was thinking. Please don't ask Denise to share what she's thinking unless you really want to know. And so Denise proceeded to use colorful language with a few words I won't say, and said she said this to the individual and basically called the person a bald-faced liar. And it got pretty heated, and she knew that was wrong, and so before, anybody else could tell me, Denise called and told me this story, and she said, I know you need to discipline me, I know it's not okay, I know I can't do this. And I had to stop laughing myself. I'm glad I was on the phone so she couldn't see me. And I said, yeah, you're right. You can't do that, Denise. And so I said, don't do that again, or you're really in trouble. And so that's Denise. And
I just have to say, I think I learned new words when Denise taught me this.
But as Beth would say, I never did it again.
And I think the one other thing, our early joke was when something would happen, Denise wanted to respond. And so a couple emails went out and we sort of talked about that. And so our joke was, Denise, step away from the keyboard. So with that, we love you. You will always be with us. And we are there for you. And you've heard that from everyone in this room and who else wasn't able to be here today, but sends their love to you and their best wishes. And we're here, so whatever you need to get back what you've given to us. And that is just abundance. And we will be here to gladly give it. Thank you all for coming.